Dear viewers, welcome back. It is still Breaking the Law, and I am still your host, Estella Tegeka Felicity, in studio with Michael Winnie. We are still discussing the Constitution and constitutionalism. Before the break, Michael, you were telling us about the Constitution and whether it's enough. And your answer was that the Constitution is only half of the story, the other half is the people, the citizens of Uganda. What do you mean by the citizens being the other half of the Constitution in relation to whether it's enough?
Yes. Now, under the Constitution, power belongs to the people of Uganda. All of us, me, you, even you watching, you have a duty to protect the Constitution.
Okay.
So now, in order to actualize the Constitution, we have members of Parliament. But the fact is, if your member of Parliament is not talking about making the law, then most probably is not telling you, okay, it might be a lie, shall we say, because members of Parliament have the power to make laws and they have the power to make policies. But anything outside that one is outside their power. Now, they represent you in Parliament in order to create the law. When a law is proposed by government, the member of Parliament then has to come back to the people and say, look, this law is going to be passed by government, or government intends to pass it. Now, what do you feel about it? Do you like the law? Do you think there is a bit about it that affects you that needs to change? Then the members of Parliament go back to Parliament, and then they either choose to pass the law, to refuse to pass it, or they make changes to the law so that it best suits the people that he represents. Sadly, this is not always the case.
Have you been consulted on a law before?
No, I don't think I was present at the time, but some
No,
consultations.
any law, there's been a couple of laws that have been passed.
To date, not yet.
Where do you hide? Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that affect whether the Constitution works or not? The fact that we have parliamentarians and they are elected by the citizens.
So Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution. Sometimes it will always, at every point, it will have to pass an act. It will have to make a specific law to amend the Constitution. However, not all the provisions of the Constitution can be amended only with an act of Parliament. Now, other times it would require a referendum where the Parliament says that this is what we want to do with the Constitution. Now, then it's either you, the people, who will vote to decide whether or not that change should be made, or in the alternative, the other times it will be, the referendum will be with certain districts.
So what exactly is the referendum, and have we employed that method before?
Yeah, we have employed it once before, which was when we were changing from the one-party system to multi-party system. Now, the referendum is like an election, but instead of electing individuals, you're deciding between two positions, or there are two choices, whether to do something or not to do something.
So in that case, we were voting either for multi-partyism or for the one-party system.
Yes. Okay. But I think for younger viewers, you will remember the thing of Brexit in the UK. I think that is their version of the referendum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about requiring a referendum sometimes. What else could be required in other instances?
Now, in other instances, we have the district councils, and then the referendum can be run by them, the district councils, so they will make the decision.
So, Michael, we've talked about the Constitution and how the Constitution came into being. You've walked us through the journey of the Constituent Assembly up to the point when the Constitution came in place on 8th October 1995.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the fact that this Constitution gave hope
Yes.
for more stability in this country.
Yes, we did.
The question still remains, is this Constitution enough?
Well, now the Constitution, as I'd said earlier, the Constitution as the document is one half of it. The other half is the will of the Constitution. Now, this book known as the Constitution, especially the 1995 Constitution, is a perfect document. It reflected the will of everyone. But over time, there have been some changes to it. Now, it brings into light the area of constitutionalism. We have the document, now we have the will to follow the...
So what is constitutionalism?
Constitutionalism is the will to follow the Constitution, to respect it.
Okay.
Now, what has happened is since 2001, there have been multiple amendments to the Constitution. And
Okay.
with every amendment, the Constitution goes from being this larger-than-life legislation that governs everything from when we are born to when we die, even when we breathe, to something that can be changed at will. And personally, I feel like the more that it's changed, the more we stop respecting the Constitution. And if that happens, it will become like the rest of the constitutions of Uganda. They'll be resigned to the dustbins of history. Just, it won't even be worth the paper it's printed on.
So should the provision for amendment be done away with, or what could help the Constitution?
Now, I don't think the provision to amend the Constitution should be done away with, because at certain points, the Constitution needs to be amended. But then what I feel like should happen is that we should respect the Constitution more. We shouldn't have members of parliament changing the Constitution for their benefit, because a certain 20 million has appeared here, a certain 40 million has appeared there. No. We should have members of parliament understand that the danger of continuously changing the Constitution is to take us to a point of chaos, where, as we have seen in our history, to date, we have never had a peaceful exchange of power, and I hope that one can happen under this Constitution, and that the next person can respect it. Otherwise, it will be bad for the country. And that one is the most optimistic outlook.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Our viewers, I hope you have learned something about the Constitution and constitutionalism. We'll be here next week. The show remains Breaking the Law. Bye-bye.